Welcome to my channel Living Librarian. I'm your host Dave. I'll be sharing knowledge about consciousness, spirituality, and life. Stay tuned.
What are the dramas of your ego? By Natalija Pavlaković. It is so easy to create conflict, quarrels. We live on a planet ruled by emotional dramas, and before we even realize what has happened, we find ourselves in a whirlwind of unwanted situations, conflicts, and hatred. This is due to our lower self which, with the help of our unhealed ego, controls our actions and reactions. Our higher self, unlike the lower self, just waves and says, "It's a waste of time and energy." But unfortunately we only listen to the higher self when we reach a level of consciousness where we can control our lower self. Imagine the following scenario. You receive an email in which the person writing to you uses words that disparage you, order you, or call you to order. A storm of rage is rising in you, your ego is hurt, you feel disrespected, underestimated, and miserable. Your lower self immediately devises a counterattack, and in your mind you are already composing an email with the same or worse text to send back. The other party receives an email and returns the blow. And so one email turns into a ping-pong match of derogatory words or nuclear bombs in which neither side wants to give in because they think they are right. 15 or more years ago, I learned from my teacher Maitreya that one of our most important lessons is to learn to control emotions and release the emotional body. Maitreya taught us that when we do not attach importance to the negative energy that is directed against us, it disappears or is directed to something else. Otherwise we just add fuel to the fire and the quarrel continues. I found myself in the described situation many times. Although I am not a conflicted person by nature, I knew how to raise anger and I knew how to support that anger in myself with negative thoughts for days, wanting to hurt the other side and coming up with sentences that will do it. But aware of the negative consequences of such a way of calculating, I allowed myself time to process. Because while I was in a state of rage, I couldn't look at the whole situation in a positive and constructive way. Only when the anger disappeared and when I felt that peace reigned in my mind and my heart reopened, only then would I accept writing the answer that I very patiently created, bearing in mind that a great dose of respect must be felt for the person I am writing to. A dose of self-esteem. It often happened that I would not answer at all if on the other hand there was someone who was in the frequency of condemnation and prejudice against me and my work. That person has already formed an opinion about me and nothing I would write would convince her of that point of view, so why waste time and energy? I learned that in every situation like this, there is learning and testing. Will I insist that I'm right? Will I support the negative vibe? Do I want to see what the other side is teaching me? Can I admit my own mistake if it exists? Can I take responsibility for my actions and my life? May I not answer at all even though my lower self assures me that by doing so I am trampling on my respect? Can I stop giving energy to this negative situation by forgetting it, deleting email or something similar? Maitreya has always reminded us that our energy is very valuable and that we pay attention to what and whom we spend it on. His words always ring in my mind. Imagine what you could do with that energy you are now spending on worry, anger or fear. Our ego always reacts drastically as long as we carry in our emotional body the negative emotions that feed and control our lower self. If we feel a lack of self-confidence, our ego will react. If we feel insecure, our ego will react. If we feel fear, our ego will react, etc. The ego of a person who is self-satisfied, happy, aware, who knows and accepts his strengths and weaknesses, who feels love for himself and the world, who can see life from a higher perspective, who supports life on a higher vibration, will hardly react with a counterattack. With a desire for conflict, vindictively or with the need to prove and impose his truth at all costs. This does not mean that he cannot feel just anger, but he will not allow himself to direct that anger at others, but will try to find a win-win solution. It is not easy to find a moment of control in which we will stop our reaction in time. It is especially difficult if we carry injuries, traumas, insecurities and fear. Then we react instinctively, defending ourselves by all means. The Buddha once said that the greatest victory is the one we gain over ourselves. Therefore let us get to know each other, let go of the negative and unnecessary from our life, raise the vibration and consciousness, and our ego will no longer be sensitive and reactive, and the lower self will lose the energy with which it feeds its low needs.